Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Free Agent Friday right here on the Breakfast Burrito. I am DJ Yoakley, and my broadcast partner Monday through Friday, every single day from 10 o'clock till 11 o'clock is Mr. Thomas Pease. Tommy, what's up, my man?
It's Free Agent Friday, bro.
Oh, and we
got some special guests today. I'm excited. It's gonna be a fun show.
They do not need any introduction. One of them certainly doesn't because he's almost on as much as we are. His name is Eric McMahon, and he goes by Squeaky Bandito on this show. Squeaky, what's cracking?
Straight cash, homie.
Thanks, Randy. And brought to you by the ways of Boorman, Ohio, he is the voice of the South Range Raiders. He is Mr. Anthony Hartwig. Anthony, what's popping, my friend?
Not much. Glad to be here.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for joining us today. We got a great show. We got a lot of news. We had some breaking news overnight in the NCAA that we'll get to in just a little bit. But we did have some local scores we wanted to catch you up on. Anthony, some action on the hardwood for the ladies. And, you had a chance to take in a Canfield game. What was that like?
Yeah, I went to Canfield. They played North Canton Hoover, and Hoover has two girls that are Division I commits. Both of them were very good, and Canfield gave them a heck of a game. But Hoover outlasted them, and I think they won by 9. But it was a very hard-fought basketball game.
It was 56-47, a final score. Hoover moves on. Canfield season comes to a close for the ladies there. Heck of a season for them. Also, for those of you out there, and we actually visited Connaughton Valley for YSN. It's 46-12. Connaughton Valley falls to the Fort Fry Cadets. Another local team, the Struthers Lady Wildcats, 47-35 over Cardinal Mooney. That's kind of a interesting score there. Cardinal Mooney, one of the better teams in basketball, Anthony. So, I mean, what kind of gives on that one?
Yeah, well, Struthers was a 3 seed in that bracket, and it was Mooney's a good team, but Struthers is big and physical, and Mooney just doesn't have that kind of stuff to deal with a big physical team like that. So that whole district is very interesting with West Branch in there, and Poland and Howland, and now Struthers. That's going to be an interesting district semifinals on Monday. And
you kind of alluded to it, Poland, probably the game of the night against the Ursuline Fighting Irish, 50-49 in overtime. The Bulldogs pull it out over the Ursuline Irish. You had a chance to kind of analyze both these teams. What do you think kind of went down there?
Well, my pregame prediction was Poland wasn't going to be physical enough to deal with Ursuline, but, man, they really limited Dationette Harris, and they came away with they were the more complete team from what I heard. South Range's coach was there taking it in. He told me that they were just a better complete team.
And then we move along down the river to Steubenville, where the Big Red Ladies got a 46-42 win over the Monroe Central Seminoles. That's a big win for Steubenville. And then you move on to Glen Oak, where the Golden Eagles, the Lady Eagles, with a 70-30 win over Austintown Fitch. So Austintown Fitch, their season comes to a close. Probably not the season they were hoping for, especially getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs. But nonetheless, the Falcons bow out. And then our final, it was a boys score, but we had Connaughton Valley with a win over the Barnesville Shamrocks, 68-48. So we got lots of good guys action tonight. On Friday, I will be personally at the Crestview game where they will be taking on the Liberty Leopards. I've already had a chance to see the Leopards this year when they took on South Range. I believe Mr. Pease will be at that game as well, kind of taking in the gymnastics at halftime.
I will be. Yeah, my daughter, Kinsey's Top Gun Gymnastics here in East Liverpool, Ohio, will be performing a halftime show as kind of a warm-up to a March 4th event at the University of Pittsburgh. So, yeah, tonight you'll see TP2, Taylor Pease, perform gymnastics at Crestview. So we'll definitely say hi to you, DJ.
TP 2.0.
That's it.
And then, of course, we have we won't have it, but available to you are the Springfield Tigers visiting the LeBray Vikings. The LeBray Vikings just absolutely having the season of their dreams. But Springfield looking to play spoiler as they head over to LeBray. So you can catch that one at 7 o'clock. If you haven't had plans to get there, make sure. I'm sure tickets are still available. And then also, it's just a short drive away, Boardman is hosting Austintown Fitch, and I'm told that Corey Lindsley will be in attendance. The Green Bay Packers lineman will be in attendance. So get out there if you're a Corey Lindsley fan, if you're a Packers fan, or if you're just a fan of the NFL. I'm being told he's going to sign autographs, things of that nature. So if you want to meet an NFL superstar, there's your chance. And that is about it, other than Ursuline having a game tonight as well. I know Salem is taking on Columbiana. That's going to be their senior night. And it's going to be, I believe, it's going to be on YSN. We're going to have Nate Kuiper is going to have the call for that one. And then Canfield taking on Alliance over in Alliance. So that's about it before kind of their last chance to get things heated up before the playoffs and the tournament season. So, boys, anything you're looking forward to tonight? Or just me, Crestview?
It's a very quiet time down south here, but next week we'll have a lot more coverage for you when it comes to high school sports and state playoffs.
It's going to be bebopping for sure.
Yeah, after the OVAC, nobody down here schedules anything.
When's that kickoff?
The OVAC, it just ended last Saturday.
Oh, it ended, okay.
Yeah, that week is usually a dead week. Nobody schedules anything. It's usually makeups or whatever. But everybody schedules OVAC teams down here, so they got to get them in before the points, which is why Liverpool had like 8 games in like 11 days.
Gotcha. Okay. Gotcha. Well, guys, switching subjects here real quick. Did anybody catch or did anybody look at ESPN this morning and see the biggest comeback in Division I history, courtesy of Drexel over Delaware? Anybody see that 34-point deficit they overcame to win that ball game?
I didn't witness it live, but read about it and watched the highlights from it. And it's just a tale of two halves. And crazy enough, it was a huge tale of two halves. So both ways. Crazy game. Biggest comeback in Division I history.
If you guys are down 53-19 with 2:36 remaining in the first half, as a player, do you think it's over? You think, okay, coach is going to start making some adjustments. This thing is mailed in.
For a scrub bench player like myself, I would hope I'd be in the game.
What about you guys?
53-19, man. Put me in, coach.
What about you?
I knew I was getting in when that was the case.
You knew you were getting in.
I knew I was getting in when that was the case.
You take those 34 points all by yourself.
Usually we were winning by that point. So,
what about you, Mr. Hartwig?
Man, that score at halftime, you don't want to ever say it. As a player, you can't have that mentality,
One of the quotes they had is from the Drexel guard is saying that basically Delaware, they almost shot perfect from the 3-point line. He said, I guess the coach told him, he told us it could happen the exact opposite way, and that's what happened. So Drexel makes the huge comeback, a 34-point deficit, overcomes it to beat Delaware, and that is the largest comeback in D1 history. What's the biggest comeback, or I guess the most memorable comeback that you guys can remember? We talked about the upsets yesterday on our show. What's the biggest comeback that comes to your mind when you think about a team overcoming a deficit?
Oh, dang. How about like 2 years ago in Texas A&M, they're playing Northern Iowa in the tournament. They're down 12 with like 35 seconds left, and they come back and tie it and then win it in double overtime.
I mean, that's huge. That's huge. What about you guys?
Well, I said it yesterday as an upset, but, it ultimately was a comeback. It's got to be last year's Super Bowl. Atlanta blowing the huge lead to Brady and the Patriots. That's
you really love it on that Super Bowl.
It'll be historical from now until when they stop talking about football.
It sure will be, because that's Brady's last Super Bowl.
Seeing as
Oh,
my
you're
NFL team
calling
has given up 2 21-point leads in the playoffs, I don't want to talk about NFL comebacks.
That's right. Captain Chief over there.
If you're talking NFL comebacks,
Talking any comebacks. Name it.
what was the what was the one? Was it
Bills Oilers? Are you gonna steal my thunder?
I'm not going Bills Oilers. I'm going the other one, the 24-point deficit. Niners Giants.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Wow, that's a deep one. That's a deep cut.
Giants won. Did the Giants or Niners win that game?
The Niners did because on the last play of the game they screwed up the field goal and they with the bad snap and the Niners drugged down the receiver and they didn't call it.
I'm going with the Bills and Oilers, man. I will never. I think I've alluded to it on the show before. I mean, that's the Frank Reich era in Buffalo, and now he's the head coach over in Indianapolis. But man, it's still one of the best games I've ever seen. Besides, I think we as Steelers fans, well, 3 out of 4 of us that have common sense. Are you a Steeler fan, aren't you, Squeaky?
No.
Who do you cheer for?
I'm a Niner fan.
Oh, get the hell out of here.
Jimmy GQ.
I root for the local team.
Oh, that's right. You are a Niners fan because you had that sweet Oakland Raiders hat on not too long ago.
Old school hat. Old school hat.
Because I can break out all the Browns gear in my closet for old school gear.
I don't have any Browns gear. I've never seen any that I like because brown and orange are ugly colors.
Watch your mouth. You watch your mouth. You're talking to an East Palestine Bulldog. You watch your mouth.
I've never seen a good combination of orange and brown on anything. I'm sorry. I've never seen a good combination.
Well, you don't know fashion, my friend. And that's probably why you wear a Raiders hat when you're a Niners fan.
Yeah, okay.
I'll make sure that I break out my Ravens jersey.
I have a Ravens jersey actually somewhere in the basement.
Sure sounds like you would.
I do. I have a Ray Lewis jersey.
Oh, that explains a lot. That explains a ton. I'm sure you got some gloves and stuff with some DNA on it too.
No, I don't. I don't have that. Obstruction of justice, by the way.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm
Obstruction
sure I wasn't the only scared person when the lights went out in the Super Bowl with Ray Lewis in proximity to millions of people.
Actually, there was an accused murder on the 49ers too at that time, so I'd have been more scared of him.
So, wow, way off topic. What the hell were we talking about?
We just took a tangent.
Biggest comebacks.
Okay, so for you guys, I mean, we talked about, personally, you've seen a lot of games, you've seen a lot of sports locally, regionally. Is there a team that strikes your fancy as a team that is a comeback team, a cardiac team?
You mean like in the local high school or just anything?
Yeah, regional. Really anything, I guess, if you think about it. But a team that plays better whenever they're down. Have you guys ever heard of that? The teams that actually like being down or prefer being down. And I know nobody really prefers it, but they're driven by the comeback.
I hate to sound like a homer, but in 14 and 15, when the Royals made that big playoff run, they came back almost every game they were in the playoffs. They loved it. A wild card, they're down 7-2 with John Lester pitching in the 8th, and they come back and win that game. They some teams just do better when they're down. It's a weird psychology.
Right,
well, Lester kind of gave that game to him because Lester refuses to throw the ball to first base, and the Royals just ran on him.
Exactly.
And just continued to run on him.
The Royals were a team that we were built to come back because they just put the ball in play all the time. They didn't strike out, and they ran well on the bases. So they were built to come back that whole playoff run.
So what about? Tommy. You've had your fair share of watching some sports. Is there a team that you really remember that's, and you don't have to cite it like these two unbelievable gurus, but think about the comebacks you've seen. Is there a team that you really watched and just completely overcome by what they did to make those comebacks, unbelievable comebacks?
I'll be honest with you, not really. No one team sticks out as a comeback caliber team. I've seen comebacks, witnessed many of them, but no, nothing really sticks out for me as being a team that thrived being down or was a good team but played from behind a lot. Not really.
What about, and I'm going to name 3 of them. One of them are the Boston Red Sox, down 3-1 to the Yankees. Another one, I would say, the Cleveland Cavaliers, down 3-1 to Golden State. And I believe, did the Red Sox do it again, down 3-1 to the Indians at one point? And that was at the 2007 ALCS?
Yes.
So you think about that, and wait a minute. Didn't the Indians blow a 3-1 lead again not too long ago?
Not too long ago.
They blew a 2-0 lead.
What's that?
They blew a 2-0 lead, too.
Yeah, to last year.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you talk about some of these comeback stories in American history, and you understand everyone wants the comeback, right? Because it builds drama and it makes things more exciting and builds ratings. But to me, one of the greatest comebacks in history has to be that 2004 Red Sox team. That, to me, was one of the most fun times in baseball to watch.
I would choose that. I thought you meant like an actual team, but if you're talking about like series comebacks, the Cavs 3-1 coming back on the Warriors for me tops the charts. Yeah,
I'm with you. I was kind of one or the other, 1 and 1A. But yeah, I as much as I love the Red Sox one, and I still think that's my number 1 of all time. It was fun. It was great to watch, and especially having to win the Game 7 on the road. That was incredible.
Stories legends are made of right there.
That's it. Hey, did you guys see, speaking of the Cavs, did you see Mr. Nance Jr. brings his dad's number 22 out of retirement? So let's talk about that a little bit. What are your feelings on that? A number being brought out of retirement. Now, I understand it's certain circumstances. If your kids can wear your number, that's a pretty cool moment for a dad. But should numbers be able to be unretired? And kind of, precursor to our topic at hand is, what other numbers around the league, or I guess any league, should be retired? And should any numbers that are retired be unretired?
That's a crazy question.
All right, here's what we're going to do, because we're having so many people. Nobody wants to step on anybody's toes. So we're going to play popcorn here. We're going to start with one guy, and then we're going to go to a next guy. So we're going to pick an order. It's going to go – let's go with – everybody wants to hear from Squeaky. Squeaky, let's hear it.
You got to make me go first. Nobody had a problem. Jordan did it. Jordan retired his own number.
Jordan can retire about 4 numbers, right?
Yeah, 12, 45.
9.
Well, they can't retire 9 in the Olympics. They have to wear it. They can't retire that one.
Why do they have to wear it?
Because in the Olympics, they can only wear number 4 through 15 because they got to put the foul calls on both hands.
Oh. So I didn't know that. I always wondered why they didn't wear their numbers in the Olympics. Thanks, Google.
No problem.
So what do you think? I mean, is there somebody out there that should have their number retired that you feel that did their due diligence enough to have their number retired, even if it's just on their team or if it's all across the sports?
Sorry, LeBron. Nobody should wear number 23 in the NBA. Sorry.
I'm going to ask this very, very politely. Wow. Why?
Because the greatest athlete of all time wore number 23.
So you're saying that nobody in the NBA should wear 23 ever?
No, never.
Wow, that's big.
No, but nobody wears 99 in hockey, do they?
No, out of respect for Gretzky.
No, it's retired league wide.
Squeaky banned Google over there today.
Open mouth, insert foot. I just thought it was out of respect for Gretzky.
No, it's retired league wide. They retired league wide as soon as he retired.
So why don't people wear 66?
Well, he only wore 66 because he just reversed 99. That's why Lemieux wore 66.
Well, yeah, I knew that, but why don't they retire 66? I think he was just as good, if not better, than Gretzky.
I think he was better. I think he was better. I think Lemieux got the treatment when he played in the NHL. We can't hit Gretzky, so we're going to hit him. Plus, he was 6'5", 230 pounds.
Well, yeah, Lemieux had a little bit more size to him and a little bit more oomph to him, if you will. So let's hear it. 23 is because Jordan is the greatest to ever play.
And they're not going to retire Lemieux's jersey because Wayne Gretzky has more assists than people have points in league history.
Okay.
His assist total is more points than second place.
We could get into the Gretzky versus Lemieux, but it's just going to go back. And I remember being in college and going back and forth on this. So Michael Jordan to you is the guy in the NBA.
He is the greatest athlete I think he's the greatest athlete that ever lived.
I am going to poke a hole in that and say absolutely not. I'm going to say the 23 that wears it now is a better athlete.
No.
Athlete.
I agreed. I agree with DJ. Athletically, LeBron James is head and shoulders above Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan was just absolutely special, but he was a little before his time, maybe with his body structure and how he played the game of basketball. But in today's game, I'm not sure Michael Jordan does what he did in the late 80s and 90s. I really don't.
I think he'd average 50. I think he'd average 50.
Oh yeah, he would, because now
nobody plays defense.
We have catered to the offensive scoring, so Michael Jordan would go off.
See, I don't think so. I don't think he's
yeah.
physical. I don't think he's physical enough.
It's not physical today. No one plays defense.
You're telling me when I watch LeBron James go to the rack and he gets absolutely mugged on his way to the basket, that it's not physical?
I don't see that nearly as much as I used to.
Man. Wait, playoff basketball, that's all it is. It's just gang up on LeBron and beat the hell out of him, and hopefully he twists an ankle or something.
If Jordan went to the rack in the playoffs back in those days, Rick Mahorn and Bill Laimbeer were going to clothesline him.
And he probably deserved it because asshats like you are saying he's the greatest athlete of all time in basketball.
I think he is, but I'm telling you what they did to him. He went to the rack. They made sure he went to the ground.
He beat the Monstars.
There you go. There you go. I was waiting for that. There you go.
So did Bill Murray.
Hey.
Well, he just made a good pass. That's all he did.
Yeah. And Jordan dunked the ball from the other side of the court. Yeah.
So you're saying that you're saying Michael Jordan is the greatest athlete of all time, and his 23 should be retired league-wide?
Yes.
Okay. Hey, I asked for it and I got it. What about you, Anthony? Is there any players that stand out to you?
Well, let's see. Tony Gonzalez should be gone in Kansas City. No one needs to wear 88. Is Barry Sanders retired in Detroit?
Yes. Well, 3 people wore 20 before, and they retired. Billy Sims wore it too. And number 20's retired. It's not so much Barry Sanders in Detroit. It's about 3 guys.
Thank you, Google. Dang. I think once LeBron's done, 23, that's in one of the discussions. Should anyone else wear 23 after that?
Yeah, I mean
after 2 people have just dominated the league with 23, do we just keep 23?
Why are we still wearing Wilt Chamberlain's number? Why are we? Why? Here's the thing: your number, Jackie Robinson, his number across. Yeah. That is the 42 should be across every sport. To me, should never be worn, not just baseball for what he did. For Gretzky, 99 should be hockey. Okay, so I understand that if they want to do that, but you're opening up Pandora's box when you do that, because then you say, okay, because let's say what happens, somebody's let's say Connor McDavid surpasses Wayne Gretzky. Do we retire Connor McDavid? I think what he's 96 or something like that.
97.
So do we retire the 97 then? Is that a standard that we set up? Because then you don't retire Lemieux, but Lemieux I think was every bit as good as Gretzky, and I mean it's all beauty's in the eye of the beholder, right? But I think it also comes down to political and who's in the front office and what strings they're going to pull and how close they are to that particular player. For me, Roberto Clemente is a number that needs to be retired across baseball. The 21, it needs to. And the Pirates organization's been after it for a long time. You've seen T-shirts, you've seen campaigns. Andrew McCutchen has worn, gear, retire 21. Obviously, we never had a chance to really see how great RC21 could be. But reality is the arrow was up. And not only was he one of the greatest baseball players, of all time, way before my time, but reality tells me that he was one of the greatest humanitarians. And not that you want to retire a humanitarian's number because you can do that all across the world. But reality says Roberto Clemente is one of those jerseys that should be hanging right next to, or numbers that should be hanging right next to Jackie Robinson. Peasy, what do you think?
I can't disagree with you on Roberto Clemente. You hit the nail on the head. In his prime, was tragically killed being a humanitarian, going to be a humanitarian. So, I mean, I don't disagree with that at all. I think if professional sports start to retire single players' numbers league-wide like you see with Gretzky, you're opening up a can of worms. Before you know it, you're not going to be able to wear numbers. I mean, Tom Brady, does he deserve when he hangs up his cleats? Does he deserve to not have his number worn league wide in the NFL? I mean, if we're going with all time greats, there's nobody better ever at the position than Tom Brady. So is 12 gone league wide? Then you start saying, well, wait a minute, Brett Favre. What about Brett Favre? Is the 4 can't be worn? And it goes on and on. So I'm not sure I agree with retiring numbers league wide. For the organization they played for or spent the majority of their career with, I understand, I get that. But league wide opens up a can of worms. As far as Larry Nance Jr., I love it. He's paying honor to his pops. You could tell during the dunk competition that him and his dad had got a special bond. So if the man whose jersey's retired says okay to whoever wants to wear it, I don't have a problem with it. And in this case, it's a perfect setup for the Nance family. And hats off to Nance Jr., who I actually enjoy watching playing basketball. Very athletic, similar game to his father. So yeah, I think it's awesome.
Do you think there will be a time where we see triple digits on somebody's back?
Oh God, I hope not.
If we start to retire numbers league wide for all these all time greats, yeah, you might see it.
I think for me, you look at it and you go, well, the Yankees.
It'll be the Yankees. It'll be the Yankees, yeah, because every number 0 through 9 is retired for the Yankees. Every single number.
So here you go. Number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, number 5, number 6, number 7, number 8, number 9, 10, 15, 16, 20, 21, 23, 32, 37, 42, 44, 46, 49, 51.
Wow.
Those are all the numbers just retired by the Yankees, not to mention the numbers that they haven't distributed because a number could be retired down the line.
And that's why Aaron Judge wears 99.
I think not. Well, I mean, you look at players now, and a lot of players wear their own, pick their own number out, like odd numbers, because they want to be the guy.
Well, they have to. They have to for the Yankees. There's no numbers to wear.
So, I mean, when you look at like baseball rosters now, especially in spring training, you see some odd numbers. Like the Pirates just brought in Brent's. I'm trying to think, Bryce Brent's, and he's wearing number 92. And one of the reporters asked him, "Hey, are you okay with wearing 92?" And he said, "Well, Nobody ever has worn the number 92 in Pirates history before, but it's got a good following with the Steelers and the Penguins. So I thought that was kind of a hat tip to Pittsburgh sports and kind of a cool thing. But you look at, if nobody's ever worn it and the announcer comes over the loudspeaker and says, now batting number 92, Bryce Brent. It's kind of neat. It's not 23. The reason LeBron wears 23 is because of Jordan. The reason Kobe wore 24 because he thought he was one better than Jordan.
Yes.
So when you look at it, everybody is putting themselves up to Michael Jordan. So in one case scenario, Squeaks, I'm with you. Everybody wants to do that, but I believe that LeBron has surpassed Jordan in everything but championships. Then that's because it's harder to win a championship now than it was back when Jordan was there. That's my personal opinion.
You think it's harder to win championships than the NBA now?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And Jordan never had to go up against and I understand it's more physical, but the number of athletes, like pure athletes, like size, speed, agility, creativity. Jordan didn't have to go up against the Golden State Warriors. He didn't have to go up against these absolute monsters, like guys that aren't chugging beers after the game, guys that are chugging protein shakes and back in the gym.
And I understand that. But Jordan's era, there were also 130 to 124 games, but they were also shooting 50% from the field and playing defense at the same time. You got to remember that.
But it wasn't. You can say it was defense, but it wasn't. They weren't as fast. Look at the game now, as opposed to what it was. They were not nearly as fast. And you can say that about everything. Everybody's bigger, faster, stronger.
Nothing was. The NFL wasn't even as fast as it is now.
I like what Tommy said, though. He said that Jordan was ahead of his time. But I also think that Jordan would be a good scorer, but I think he'd be more on the lines of Kobe Bryant, maybe even worse than Kobe. I think Kobe could probably handle Jordan. If you put both teams in their prime, it's like one of those that meme that Spider-Man is looking at Spider-Man. But I think Kobe probably comes out because Kobe he had more creativity, he had better handles. Jordan was just the bigger aggressor.
And I'll say this one, and I'm done with this after this. All right, I'm done with this.
This is it. I'm waiting.
If Jordan played now, what Russell Westbrook did 2 years ago, Jordan does that in his career. If he plays today, he averages a triple double. Especially how the game's changed. He averages a triple double.
The more I think about this, the more I think that Michael Jordan isn't much better than, was it Jimmy Butler?
No, I wouldn't. No, that's a slap in the face. You can't say that.
That's what I'm saying.
No, boo. You can't say that. But listen, Jordan was special. There's no doubt about it. He was our childhood hero. We grew up watching Michael Jordan grow up. So Michael Jordan was really, really good. He was before his time because athletically he was a cut above the rest, kind of like LeBron James is right now. Now, Jordan had off nights. Yeah, what Russell Westbrook did, Jordan would do. In today's game, Jordan might have games where he puts up 70 points or 60 points. But he's also going to have games where he puts up 21 or 22, just like he did in his career when he played. So Jordan would be a great player in today's game. He would be mentioned with LeBron and Durant and all those guys. But the league as a whole is way, way more athletic. And the pace of today's game, the pace of the basketball game, is way above what it was when Jordan played. Plain and simple.
Anthony, you want to chime in? Finish this one off?
A couple of days ago, you talked about LeBron, and when you said he has that look in his eyes, no one can stop him, But the problem, when he doesn't have that look in his eyes, sometimes that effort isn't there. And I don't think we ever saw that with Jordan, even if he had a bad night.
Jordan was a killer.
I mean, there are times in LeBron's career where you have to question his effort, and I don't really ever see that with Michael Jordan, even on games when he wasn't playing well.
Is this all deemed from Jordan making a career of tormenting the Cavs? Is this what this all goes to?
For me?
For everybody. He tormented the Cavs. It was the only building he got booed in.
I mean, for me, listen, I'm big into it, but when you look at, you got to appreciate them for what they were and what they do. You know, I'm a big guy of, a huge advocate of you got to beat who's in front of you. And Jordan did that. And he did that probably better than anybody else, right? 6 championships. But to have his number retired across the league, I
wouldn't do that.
I wouldn't do it. I obviously in Chicago, I mean, you can retire more than once if you'd like. You can retire 12. You can retire 9. I don't like whatever you want to do. Like retire his jersey, his Olympic jersey in Chicago 30 times if it's going to put butts in the seats. But the number 23 will be reserved for LeBron James when it goes up in Cleveland. No ifs, ands, or buts.
I'm trying to blank on this. When did he wear 12?
His jersey was stolen, I guess, one night, and it was a road game, and he wore 12. So he can wear 45. He can wear 12. I mean, you like any jersey that Michael Jordan ever wore, hang it up, right? Hang it up.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
How about that, Google?
I didn't know that.
Oh, you stumped a bandito.
I didn't know that.
Stumpo the bandito. Oh, no.
I didn't know that. I knew his rookie year Roenick wore 51, but I didn't know that. That's amazing.
There it is, man. Catching up to it. Not really. But yeah, I mean, it boils down to, I mean, if you do that, then, Steph Curry's number going to get retired for the most threes that, I mean, like, not to stop retiring numbers, but make it worth something, and not that Jordan's not worth anything, but he didn't do anything for the game. He did something for Chicago. He didn't do anything for the game. He just made people want to be like Mike, and he'd had some great marketing around him with Gatorade. He didn't do anything special. Like you talk about, Jackie Robinson. That number gets retired across the league. Hockey just needed something, I guess. They just wanted to thank Gretzky. So, what was it, Gary Bettman that was in charge of that?
Screw Gary Bettman. Screw Gary Bettman.
There it is. But reality says that I mean, I don't think that Gretzky's number should be retired because it didn't do anything for the league. The league was in bad shape when Gretzky was there. They seemingly tried everything and threw everything but the kitchen sink to play hockey. The glow puck, things like that.
Actually, Gretzky saved hockey in Southern California, so you can't say that he didn't do anything. He saved hockey in Southern California.
I wish that we would let the entire state of California just kind of float into infinity.
Hey, other than that point, Northern California, I'm with you, but.
But here's the thing, guys. To retire numbers, there's got to be justification, and it's got to be more than just, he scored a lot of points or he won some championships. Because, I would venture to guess that there's only a couple numbers that are retired league wide, and I don't think that MJ should be one of them. I don't think LeBron should be one of them. If that makes anybody any more kind of eased at mind, but yeah, the retired number thing, I'm with you at Nance. That's a cool opportunity. If I was if my number got retired someday from something that I did and my kid wanted to wear it to honor me, cool. But is Michael Jordan's kid any good at basketball? I don't remember.
No, I mean, one of them really were.
No, neither one of them. Either was Michael Jordan in high school until late high school.
He was a JV player until he was a junior in high school.
DJ, I'm going to call you out on something.
Let's do it.
You just said, and I'm telling you right now, I 100% disagree with what you said. You said Michael Jordan did nothing for the game of basketball. I promise you this. Michael Jordan did more for the game of basketball than anybody ever in the history of the sport. And that's almost like saying Hulk Hogan did nothing for – LeBron James might not even be who he is today without Michael Jordan in his life. He was his idol. He grew up wanting to be like Michael Jordan, play like Michael Jordan. Yeah, LeBron James still would be a talented basketball player if that's the path he took. So how many other young players in the NBA or players in the NBA period wanted to become what they are because of MJ? And you said it, I want to be like Mike. How many? I wanted to be like Mike, but I'm 5'8". So it just, yeah, Michael Jordan, he's the Babe Ruth of basketball, or he's the, Hulk Hogan of wrestling. It goes hand in hand. I mean, these guys, they changed the game, whatever it was, or changed whatever they were doing, whatever. They had such a giant impact on the game or the business that they were a part of that forever they'll be legendary.
Let me ask you this. So I'm just playing devil's advocate here, but what was more important to MJ's legacy, his marketing or his game?
Well, it went hand in hand.
His game.
It went hand in hand, right? Without his game, without that mystique that lays atop Michael Jordan, that he had that godly, attitude over him, that made him the marketing around him. And when you have someone special like Michael Jordan and you put that marketing around him, guess what's going to happen? It's going to explode in this country. And you've seen the same thing happen with LeBron James and the marketing around him.
I've got a little different take on that, actually. I think Bird and Magic did more to save the NBA because before they came in the league, the NBA was a league of a bunch of guys. Let's go out and do some blow tonight, guys. Let's go out and do some blow. They got the league out of the cocaine scandals. Now, what Jordan did was he took the NBA and basketball global. And the Dream Team had a lot to do with that because it was the best NBA players playing against everybody, and they overmatched everybody. And everybody had to catch up. And I don't still think the rest of the world's really caught up. The rest of the world's got better, but I don't think they've caught up.
I don't know if I'm with you on that the blow stuff, but I'm with you to
no. The NBA had serious cocaine scandals before Magic Johnson and Larry Bird came in the league.
But I'm with you.
It was a very tattered league.
I'm with you with Larry Bird and Magic Johnson. I think that they helped raise the bar and be the high tide that raises all boats, so to speak. I think you needed that trio almost of Jordan, Bird, and Magic. To do what they did, the NBA did, and to build that. But you also had Patrick Ewing. I'm not saying that he was huge, but he was. Boston, Los Angeles, Chicago, and New York. Those are your major markets, and you built, huge marketing around them. Chicago just was able to get championships. Jordan was good, but he was surrounded with good talent around him. And I'm not saying that LeBron hasn't been, but he's kind of created it himself. Whereas Jordan had, a great coach, and it's kind of one of those Belichick versus Brady arguments. Where does Jordan really win those championships? Is he as good as he can be, as he was without Phil Jackson?
Kobe and Shaq have the same problem too, because who was their coach?
Exactly. But you look at LeBron. And LeBron is his own coach. He's the guy, right? Nobody's going to say Mike Brown led LeBron to any championship. Well, they didn't. But he's not going to say Tyronn Lue.
Eric Spoelstra coached LeBron in Miami. Yeah. Okay.
Eric Spoelstra was a janitor, I'm pretty sure, before LeBron got to Miami.
He still is.
They picked him and they said, "Hey, you want to coach the Heat?" And just because we all know Riley was pulling the strings. Well, there's nobody that doubts that. But reality is that, yes, Jordan was good, but Jordan had Scottie Pippen. Jordan had Steve Kerr. Jordan had Luke Longley. Jordan had a lot of people, but most importantly, Jordan had Phil Jackson, and he had a system that nobody could crack the code on.
The system was guarding Michael. He was the system.
I mean, there was a triangle, and then it worked in LA, so it wasn't just Michael. You see what I'm saying? Like, it wasn't just Michael Jordan. Like, Phil Jackson went on and had success. Michael Jordan retired twice, right? And he went to Washington, and he went, and he did he have success in Washington?
No.
He was way past his prime, way past.
How old was he?
40.
Okay, so at 40 years old, do you feel like LeBron James is going to be better than Michael Jordan at 40 years old?
No,
I don't know. He's taking a lot more games off. I'll tell you that much.
Who's taking a lot more games off?
LeBron.
Jordan freaking retired twice.
True.
Like, you want to talk about taking games off? The guy walked away from the game twice. Walked away. And he could have probably had more championships. And I'm not getting heated, but I'm saying is, don't say that LeBron's taking games off when you have a guy in Michael Jordan that literally walked away from the game and tried baseball and sucked.
My timeline might be a little off here, but didn't Jordan, the first time Jordan walked away from the game, didn't have a lot to do with the death of his father?
It did.
Okay, so he gets a pass for that.
I think it had a lot to do with the unwritten suspension that he was given, but that's another argument for conspiracy theorists on other days.
Tommy, I'm with you. I'm with you, and I'm against you at the same time. And I feel bad saying that, but just because you have a death in the family does not mean that you walk away. It doesn't mean you give up. It doesn't mean that you you have every right to do what you want. This is America, but he doesn't get a pass for that. I'm sorry, not in my book.
Well, if you're, and I'm not any death, and I don't want to get too deep here because any death is worth, grief or whatever. But, if his dad had a heart attack or had cancer or whatever, but his dad was murdered, right?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And I'm sure that weighed heavily on Michael Jordan because I'm sure that, he felt that his fame or his, who he is might have played or had a part in why his dad was murdered. So I'm sure mentally that really messed with MJ. I would imagine it would mess with me. So, like I said, I give him a pass for that first retirement. But, Jordan came to the league in 96, and when he was in his 14th season, like LeBron James is right now, he was nowhere near the level of player that LeBron is today in his 14th season. I promise you that.
I'm with you. We're going way off topic, but I would say that you want to look at people who stepped up to the plate, and whenever tragedy strikes, for me, it's a lot about how you respond. And
how about remember when Brett Favre went
I was just
Monday Night Football?
Yep, 399 yards, 4 touchdowns the day after his dad died. And I'm not saying that everybody handles grief differently, and I understand that, and it was different circumstances. But when you look at it, you say, okay, well, LeBron takes games off. I don't think he takes games off on purpose. And everybody's going to point to the finger at, well, Jordan was sick, and he still, was able to win a game over whoever.
That's not a LeBron problem. That's a league problem. Everyone is doing it in the league right now. It's not just LeBron.
Tommy, I just looked it up. You said his 14th year he wasn't on par with what LeBron is right now?
Uh-oh.
He was 38 playing for the Wizards.
That was his choice, though, right?
Yeah. What's that mean?
Playing for the I don't know. Can we move on from this, please?
Well, we got 10 minutes left.
Next topic.
We got 10 minutes left, so we're off. The Bandito is stumped, so we got to move on.
We're off.
He's our Google machine, so when he gets stumped, we're in big trouble because everybody said, "Uh-oh." The second you brought up, Jordan's numbers are 38.
Because it didn't add up for a second, so I had to look it up. Wasn't he like 38, 39 with the Wizards?
He was, and he's probably still on the roster.
He owns the Charlotte Hornets now, so he can't be.
He just wanted to compete, and that's what I like. He didn't care.
Maybe he should have. I mean, not to dig back into this, but people are going to remember him how bad he was on the Wizards.
He still averaged 20 points a game as a 40-year-old.
Well, according to you guys, the game changed. So,
well, the game changed whenever they got rid of a mandatory defense, and you mentioned the triangle earlier, and the triangle stopped being effective once they realized they go man to man and hack Shaq.
Yep, I'm with you. If only they could have hacked Luke Longley so many more times.
He didn't make the foul shots. That's the difference.
Well, he'd be on General commercials right now. General Insurance. Luke, can you imagine Luke Longley on General commercials? I can't.
Can you imagine him commenting? Well, his Australian accent. Can you imagine him commenting in the NBA? I mean, Shaq barely speaks English. He could do that.
Oh, all right. Here we go. And next topic here on the burrito. Conor McGregor going to be stripped of his title. Everybody's talking about the next fight for Conor. Is the fight with Floyd inevitable? And is it even fair? Tommy, we'll start with you.
Well, it's a medical suspension. He's that's why he's not able to compete. It's why he's being stripped of his title. But the next fight, I mean, are you saying that it's going to be inside the octagon?
That's what everybody's speculating. It's going to be inside the octagon, and even Dana White said it only makes sense if they're going to have another one that it is inside the UFC.
We actually talked about this one of our early episodes of the burrito. Actually, you said you wouldn't even pay for it, right? Am I right?
No, he's going to get killed. He's going to get murdered.
Yeah, but I'll pay to see that. So it's.
I think both those guys need like a big slice of humble pie.
Exactly.
If they could both,
it will be interesting.
Great.
I'm not sure I care too much, to be honest with you.
But you'd pay for it.
Yeah, I would watch it.
You'd pay $100 to watch something you don't care about.
Absolutely. It's two, cultural icons right now. So I mean, I'm watching it. Just to see what the result is live.
Bandito,
and I know you'll follow it on Twitter. I know you'll still follow it on Twitter, DJ.
Yeah, I will, because I'll get the same thing 12 seconds after it happens for free that you just paid $100 for.
Let's call this for what it is. Let's call
my McGregor party. You won't be invited to. How about that?
That's just disrespectful. You'll be flooded out anyway.
Down here in East Liverpool.
Let's call it for what it is. He doesn't want to fight Khabib. He doesn't want to fight Ferguson. Let's call it for what it is. He does not want to fight either one of them because they both will beat him.
McGregor?
He's not a 155-pounder. He's a 145-pounder.
I don't know if I'm calling that. I don't think he's ever backed down for a fight.
I'm calling that because both those guys walk around. Well, Khabib walks around 190. Ferguson walks around 180. I'm calling that. He don't want to fight either one of those guys.
I don't think I mean, I know he's never backed down from a fight, but I think it has a lot to do with, whenever what do they say? When you're a lot more hungry, I don't know where I'm going with this. Basically, he's got too much money that he doesn't care anymore.
Well, I think that's true too. But when did he start exploring the Mayweather fight? When Khabib became a number one challenger?
No, I think that. I mean, when I look at it, I saw this one coming a mile away.
Oh, I did too. But that's when he really started exploring it. When he decided he wanted to move up to 155 and take 2 belts because there was nobody left for him to fight at 145. So he physically dominates everybody.
But you look at, you talk about what Jordan did. You look at what McGregor did. He's making his money off of what he did yesterday. And if he could go out and be an exhibition fighter,
he's making his money off his mouth. He's not making his money off of what he did.
Yeah, that's true.
Right. He's making his money WWE style. And you look what happened with Ronda Rousey. You put in the time and you get your ass beat for so long, and then maybe you take a step back and maybe a couple exhibition fights, kind of Rocky Balboa style, and then you go WWE. And I still think that's what's going to happen. I think you're going to start seeing the lines become blurred between UFC and WWE, and I think Ronda and Brock Lesnar are leading the charge on that.
Well, Rhonda's problem was she's a judoka, and she never learned how to do defense. And when somebody actually punched her in the face, she had no defense for it. She had no defense for it. Holly Holm screwed her up, and then what Nunes did to her was kind of funny, but because I appreciated it, but because I'm not a Rousey fan at all. But I'm a fan of Rousey. If you understand where I'm going with that, I'm a fan of Rousey.
Oh boy,
not as a fighter. I'm a fan of Rousey.
Oh boy,
Detour.
No, not a detour. If you don't think that factors into all of this, and you're naive. You don't think that factors into it. You look at some of the girls that have been champions, and you look at her. That factors into it. They can sell that. UFC does pro wrestling from the 1980s, and it does it very well.
He's got a point.
Very well.
He's got a really good point.
The Bandito has a crush.
I got a signed poster. I'll send it your way.
What?
Yeah, I have a signed Ronda Rousey poster.
Sweet.
You met Ronda Rousey?
Yeah.
Good for you.
I meet a lot of people, man.
Wow, we got a legend amongst our ranks.
Look at my profile picture. That's Olympic champion Don Johnson, gymnast.
I met the.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Oh my, guys! It is Friday. We have officially derailed. Derailed. Good grief! This is the last party Friday we'll ever have.
It's been a good conversation.
People are, if you're out there listening right now, God bless you, because you're probably sitting there like, what are these asshats talking about? We got the Bandito talking about his crushes. We're talking about water levels in East Liverpool.
Well, that's a serious issue, and that's a serious issue. God be with people out there who got to deal with that, like down on the islands and everything. I mean, that's not fun. I mean, they're predicting water levels as high as 2004. So,
jeez. Well,
how high was 2000? I don't remember how high 2004 was.
21 feet.
Oh god.
Does Patterson Field flood if that happens, Eric?
Yeah, the valve blows. The valve blows if it's over 20. If you ask me.
Wow.
Scary stuff.
Flood level for Liverpool on the river is 14 feet. We were actually at flood stage last week.
Jeez, man. Well, thoughts and prayers to everybody over in East Liverpool. Stay dry, stay safe. That's the most important thing. And obviously, if there's anything we can do to help, please, let us know.
We got a minute left, and we missed something real quick. We probably go through it in a minute real quick, just real quick. Awards predictions for baseball. We forgot about that.
All right, let's hear it. I want your Cy Young and your MVP.
Both leagues.
Both leagues.
MVP for National League, Chris Bryant.
American.
Giancarlo Stanton.
Cy Youngs.
Cy Young. I think Verlander will win it in the American League because he'll be the number 2 and he'll have all the numbers. And in the National League, probably Scherzer.
Okay. Tommy, you want to go? Or you want to let Anthony have the floor first as a guest?
Go ahead, Anthony.
The only difference I have from the last one is I think that Mike Trout's going to win the MVP in the AL.
Booyah.
As long as he stays healthy. I mean, you can't. He's going to have a good year. I think the Angels are going to have a bounce back year, to be honest, as a whole.
You listened to our podcast the other day.
Cy Young, I like Verlander, but he's a little old. I don't know. That Astros rotation is insane. It could be Keuchel could win it. NL Cy Young, I like Scherzer in the Nationals, and MVP. I like Chris Bryant.
Okay. And Tommy?
I actually love the Chris Bryant pick, but I'm going to stick with my gut here. I'm going to say that the two faces
Damn it! I knew you were going to do it.
the
I knew you were going to do it.
will take the MVPs with Bryce Harper in the NL and Mike Trout in the AL. As far as Cy Young goes, I would say Syndergaard in the NL.
Ooh.
And I'm going to say that Garrett Cole proves how bad he hated Pittsburgh, like DJ has talked about on the Burrito before, and he goes out and puts together a 20-win season and becomes the AL MVP.
Wow.
MVP
AL
or Cy Young?
Cy Young, sorry. AL Cy Young.
Wow. So I got to change up all my picks because basically Tommy took 3 out of 4.
You can pick them.
No, I'm not going to do that. I want to go against the grain here. So because we're going to look back at this in November and we're going to be like, hey, this is who you picked, and we're all going to get it absolutely incorrect. I originally was going to go with Trout and Harper, but I am going to be forced to go with
Pick a Royal.
Yeah, to hell with that.
Yeah, right.
I am going to go with Francisco Lindor.
Oh, I like that.
And I'm also in the AL, and then in the NL, I'm going to go with crap. Man, I really had my guy pegged. Let's go with Anthony Rizzo because he's going to, it's been a minute since a first baseman's been able to do it. And he's going through some stuff right now, obviously with the school shooting down in Florida being his alma mater. I think he does it for them and brings awareness to all that. Let's go with Anthony Rizzo there. I'm also going to go with Madison Bumgarner, the NL Cy Young Award winner off a huge year. He's going to win 22 games.
Well, that means the Giants are going to have a winning record, and even though they got McCutcheon, whatever else they got, I don't know if they still can hit the ball. So,
if you want to take a gander at what Kutch did to Bumgarner's pitch the other day in spring training, I think he's still got it. But time will tell. For the AL Cy Young Award winner, I was going to go with Garrett Cole, but I am going to be forced to go with. Oh man, I guess Kluber. I'm going to say Kluber does it again. I think the Indians are going to be one of the best teams in baseball once again. So Kluber, Lindor, and then whatever happens in the National League with Bumgarner and who did I pick? Rizzo. So I don't like my NL MVP at all. I'll be honest with you. I still think it's going to be Harper. I really do. My heart of heart says he's going to have a blowout here. You
have the Indians sweeping the AL awards.
I do. I think the Indians are going to be the best team in baseball. I really do. Lindor is going to be because I don't think he's got paid yet, right? They're still talking about his contract.
No, he has not.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be that guy. I can also see like a Carlos Correa.
That's who I was gonna say is my dark horse in the AL because I like him, and I think he's gonna benefit from everything there because I don't see him pitching Altuve much after what he did last year. I don't see that happening. Reality
to me is Trout takes it by a landslide. I mean, Trout's one of the greatest baseball players to ever play in my eyes. He's got it all. Pure five-tool player. And I think he's we're going to look back and we're going to say he could have probably won it last year if he doesn't get hurt for that.
Have you ever seen him in person?
No.
Oh, he's a tree.
He looks like an NFL middle linebacker.
Makes sense. He reminds me like an Urlacher.
Yeah, I was about to say he looks kind of like Urlacher.
Yeah. So that's a wrap on the Burrito Boys. Thanks for partying with us on Friday. Sorry that we got so off topic and we went Jordan heavy, but that's what happens when you have a gang of guys and just want to talk sports. So if you want to be part of the Breakfast Burrito, whether you want to be on it, whether you want to be featured in it, let us know. Tommy and I will make it happen. Mr. Squeaky Bandito, thank you so much, sir, for joining us once again. Mr. Anthony Hartwig, absolutely. Guys, thank you both so much.
Thanks for having me. Go Raiders, go Royals, go Chiefs. Go Jackets, all that fun
Go away. That's it, boys. Tommy, you got anything? Any final thoughts?
No, have a good weekend, everybody. Stay safe, stay dry.
It's a great day.
stuff. Make it your own.
Oh, you were close. Make it yours.
Oh.
So long, everybody. That's a wrap. Take care. Have a great weekend. We'll talk to you soon.